Jason Johnson says, yep, lead simplify. Bradley, regarding a recent webby you did with Mike Martin on a national site for, say, pest care, would you go with a simple or complex silo? Ooh, that's a really good question. I would still, Jason, I would have to think about that. But I would still probably try to go with, not probably, I would go with a simple silo, only because a pest control company only has, so many types of services. Maybe you do it by like rodent control, for example. I've got an outdoor pest control company that I've been working with since 2013. So they do mosquito control, tick control, and then they do what's called, they do rodent control, but what do they call it? Integrated pest management, perimeter rodent control, something like that. Anyways, I would still likely go with a simple silo, because complex silos are complicated, hence the name. They're a bitch. They really are. They're a pain in the ass. It creates a whole bunch, and you know this, Jason. We've talked about this in a mastermind a lot. It creates a lot of issues, and it's difficult. You really have to plan out a complex silo site to be done right, especially on a national scale like that. And since I use tags for location silos now, and I've talked about that many times in the mastermind especially, but also I talk about on a conceptual level, if you go to semanticmastery.com/process, guys, I'll put this in a notepad file and blow it up again. We can also put it on the page. Stand by. Let's see, semanticmastery.com/process. Okay. If you go to that, there is training on a conceptual level. Jason, you're in the mastermind. So if you want to go into more detail on this, I'm certainly happy to do that in a mastermind webinar. We can do it. We've got it. My next mastermind webinar is tomorrow. So I can cover it again tomorrow, or more in depth tomorrow if you'd like. But there's also on a conceptual level, for those of you that are not in the mastermind, which I recommend you join us. But if you don't, you can go to that URL right there. It'll redirect to this process street template, or yeah, I don't know what that is, but if you go to website training right there, simple versus complex silos, there's video about that. Why I use, simple silos. I prefer that over complex silos, because it's just much easier to manage. Simple silo structures, specifically, I talk about that. Complex silo structures there. I also talk about the difference between physical and virtual silos, which really there's no difference in ranking ability. It's just a difference. It's really a difference in preference. If you want a physical silo shows the silo structure in the URL. A virtual silo has the same silo structure, but it only shows post name in the permalink, right? So it's, domain.com/postname permalink structure versus category/post name. Okay. And then if we come down here, I talk about tag silos. I use tag silos for locations. And so what I would suggest for you, Jason, is on a national pest control company, that you set it up with your topical or service-based silos, right? Which would be categories, corresponding pages, and then you can post underneath those. But then you set up your location-based silos using tags, and you can set up a hierarchy that same way. Like, for example, I would do state-based tags as the top location-based tag, or location silo tag, right? So it would be like, let's just say rodent control is a topical silo. Then I would have rodent control Virginia would be a top level state-based silo location tag. And then I would have, perhaps for every single county, right? I don't know how many counties there are in Virginia, 30 something, I think, or whatever, who knows? But I would have like I'm in Culpeper County. So I would have, rodent control Virginia as a tag, and then rodent control Culpeper County, for example. And both of those tags would be added to a post about rodent control in Culpeper, right? And then let's say there's cities inside of Culpeper County, right? So like Jefferson, let's just pull something. Elkwood, right? Elkwood is a town in Culpeper. So then I would have that, if it was a post about rodent control in Elkwood, Virginia, then that would contain all three tags, right? Rodent control Virginia, rodent control Culpeper County, and rodent control Elkwood. Because Elkwood is a town inside of Culpeper County. So there's a hierarchy there. Does that make sense? And I talk about that in this. This is a video. It's 40 minutes long because it's difficult to explain this. So I explain it very thoroughly in this video, and I even have a diagram here that kind of shows you what I'm talking about. But if you want more kind of in-depth training on that, that's what the mastermind is for. And I've covered it multiple times. You can even go to my webinar archives in the membership site. And you can see where I talked about tag location silos, or tag silos for locations. You can see that right in the lesson header. So you can go back and watch that. Okay. But to answer your question, I would go with simple silos as much as possible. I don't like to use complex silos anymore at all. And I try to avoid them.